Again to College Algebra. The purpose of this video is to teach you how to use a tool in the classroom that will help us throughout the course. I know that learning math online can be intimidating, so I like to focus on creating meaningful discussions to help us work together as a team to learn math. Sharing ideas, tips, and methods of solving the problems can benefit the person explaining the steps, as well as benefit those reading the posts. But how can we discuss math on a discussion board? You may think it is impossible for us to do so, but there is a great equation editor built right into the discussion board that I want to show you how to use. Once you start a new thread on the discussion board, you can enter text as usual, but if you want to insert an equation, you need to start by opening the equation editor tool. Let me help you find it because this can be a little tricky since it doesn't show up regularly on the screen unless your screen is big enough. So you can either increase the size of your screen or you can click on the ellipses, which are the three dots on the far right of the toolbar. Once you click on those, you will see a bunch more options come up, and you are looking for the Greek letter sigma that looks similar to a capital E. When you put your cursor over it, it says graphical equation. So click that, and up opens the equation editor. Now, a few things that you will probably need to use over and over. The first one I want to show you would be the fraction bar. If you click on the fraction bar, you get a nice pretty fraction, and you can enter your numerator, you can enter your denominator, and you will want to use the arrow keys to move around. You'll use the up and down arrow keys to create your fractions. You can even create a fraction within a fraction, and you can make them as pretty or as ugly as you like. Now, when you're ready to leave the fraction, you will need to make sure you use the right arrow key until you are completely out of the fraction. And if you look at the cursor bar, it's nice and tall, and that will show you that you have left the fraction. The cursor will always show you where you are in the equation. There is an alternative fraction bar, but I much prefer using the horizontal bar. I think it's cleaner and looks easier, is much easier to read. The next tool I want to show you is how to create an exponent. So if we wanted to make something as simple as x squared, we would click the x and then choose the exponent button here or superscript key. And you could click x squared. Then again, make sure that you move your cursor back out, because if you leave it up there and start writing the rest of your equation, it's going to be difficult to read. So use that right arrow key until the bar is large again, and then you can write the rest of the expression or equation or whatever it is that you're using at that time. There are several other tools just to kind of review. You have a square root or any root. You could create a cube root or a fifth root. There are parentheses, absolute values, division symbols, plus or minus, which is great for the quadratic formula. Over here you can change the font. Be careful and make sure it's still legible. The purpose is for us to be able to read it easily. So if a small adjustment will make it easier to read, then please go for it. But if not, I like to leave it usually as it is. There are additional tools up here. The second one, I guess, you'll start in the first one, shows you some less than or greater than signs. And if you skip to the last one, later on in the class, you might, I'm just going to give you a little hint, might need to use these tools, the logarithm tools. And so all of these tools are up there. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that you can insert text into the equation editor. So if I was starting with a problem and I wanted to solve x plus 3 equals 5, I know that your teachers always tell you to show your work and explain your steps, right? And I'm not going to be any different because I think that explaining your steps is crucial. It's how we can teach each other and how we can learn. So if I go here, I know that I need to subtract 3 from both sides, but I'm actually going to say it. Subtract 3 from both sides in addition to doing it. So then I can go down here, subtract 3, and make a nice, beautiful equation and answer. The one thing I do like to do is I do like to change the text from italics to regular text, which is this capital T here. I find that makes it much easier to use. And then when you're done, you will click Insert. And sometimes you will see the text and sometimes it will put a little box. Either way, it will appear, I promise, and you can always go down and preview if you're concerned to make sure it looks the way you want before you post it. So now go and give it a try. Use it to complete your assignments, ask questions, or answer questions. It will take time to get used to, but once you do, you will be grateful you did. And there are equation editors outside of the classroom as well. Every Microsoft program has one, so you can create professional-looking equations at work, at home, or anywhere you go. If you have any questions on using the equation editor or need any help at all, just let me know.